This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined by unbeaten super flyweight contender, prospect star of the future, Sonny Edwards. How you doing, Sonny?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Rob. Thanks for coming down and having me on.
No problem at all. Been a while since I've seen you. I think the last time I saw you was the podcast when we did that big long sit down. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been good. Can't complain really. Since then, I've obviously started training properly again. I was just recovering from an injury when I came down. And yeah, got a fight date now on the 27th of April, Wembley Arena. I'm live on BT in a 10-round title defence, so it's good that I've gone straight in. My ambition and where I know I'm at with my injury, I'm past it now. I've already done 8-round spars, 6-round spars, a couple of 5-round spars, so I already know I'm firing. I'm way ahead of schedule really to say I'm 6 weeks out. Yeah, they said, do you want a sort of 6-8 rounder knockover opponent? And I said no. As you can imagine, I don't want these rubbish records on I don't want to be going backwards. I want to keep the ball rolling. And I've got an opponent that's got a good winning record, only lost once. Can't announce it because I think it's getting announced to the presser tomorrow. But yeah, I'll be defending my European and international titles in a 10-round fight live on TV. So I can't complain. Do you know what I mean? I felt like I've taken my risks and took fights I didn't need to for less money than I could have got and stuff like this. And now it's paying dividends. This will be my 3rd fight in a row live on TV. I had to get to 8-0. My 9th fight was my first on TV and I headlined Box Nation, and it's taken off since then. Do you know what I mean? Things have been renegotiated behind the scenes, and I'm very happy where I'm at. I'm very happy with who I'm with. Frank Warren, MTK, I'm in a great place, and I'm building a good sort of reputation and relationship with BT Sport now. So Sonny Edwards is on a decent card of decent talent, and I'm told, boom, you're a TV slot before I had an opponent. Do you know what I mean? So I can't complain with the position I'm in. Yeah, like the flyweights, super flyweights don't get the most love because at the end of the day, me, even myself, you like watching the heavyweights and the bigger weights, but I think me and Charlie are doing bits for the lighter weights, and we're going to bring across the 2 platforms. You know what I mean? He's got Sky boxed off. I'm working on BT, and we're just going to take over from that. Do you know what I mean?
What's the plan for this year? Last time I spoke to you, you were injured at the time, but I mean you've spoken quite openly about kind of wanting to do the British title route and kind of the traditional route, which is sort of forgotten about a little bit now. It's more WBO international titles, etc. When can a realistic time frame be put on you challenging for these domestic titles?
Hopefully before summer. I've not been quiet about it. I'd have it for this fight, but Tommy Franks just won the Commonwealth title. He's a lad that I respect, not only as a boxer, as a person. I spent some time with Tommy, I've sparred him, and I do like him. He's a really nice kid. I spoke to him, after spars and that, and he's always been respectful. There's always been love between me and Tommy, but now he's stepped into the "you've got something that I want" zone, and people have got to understand. And if anyone watches this and watches Fight Night, they'll get the reference to my kit and how I'm sort of basing myself at this chapter of my career. Sonny and Showtime, they're 2 different people. Do you know what I mean? So you'll see Sonny on the street and then you'll speak to Sonny, and I can be your best friend. But once you step into the ring in my world, it's Showtime, and it's a complete different kettle of fish. I think you've seen that with other fighters as well that I interact with. Once you've got something I want, I put too much into this to allow niceties and friendships to stop me achieving my goal. I'm not going to step aside for no one. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to duck no one. And so in an ideal Sunny Showtime world, what's going to happen is that let's take a leaf out of Charlie's book and let's put something into the universe. I'm going to beat this fella on the 27th of April in a good fashion. It's a fight I think I'll look quite good on. So I mean, but it's a tough enough fight. He was around in the amateur days, and he's only lost once against a kid he's also beat as well in however many pro fights. And after get him out of the way, have a fight date now, just pretty much straight away. Like I said, Tommy Frank, he's the #1 target now that Jay Harris is he's going for the European, so now he's not in my zone right now. Do you know what I mean? He's not in the Showtime zone, the splash zone. But no, Commonwealth title has already been booked. Frank's got that. I've got the WBO European, WBO Internationals, and the British are sitting there pretty vacant. So what makes more sense than the Commonwealth champion, Tommy Frank, versus me for the vacant British, his Commonwealth and my 2 titles? I think it makes perfect sense, and I don't think anyone can disagree with that. His promoter, Dennis Hobson, has come out and said something along the lines of, oh yeah, you've got Sonny calling Tommy out now, he's arrived at the scene. And yeah, I'm not taking that fight off the table, but there's other avenues we might look to explore. But do you know what I mean? Which I hope's not just a roundabout way of saying we don't want to fight Sonny. I hope that, and I think we're going to find out sooner rather than later, for one reason or another, if that's the case. Because he's also come out and said pretty confidently, and his trainer's been heard saying pretty confidently that if we fight, there's only one winner. Which I think is not disrespectful, because I don't really care what they say side of things. We've sparred enough rounds, plenty of people have seen us spar, and if that's what they take for the spars, then I don't know how intelligent, how realistic his team is. Dennis Hobson's, I think, son's seen me spar him, obviously his trainers, but we don't talk about sparring. We don't need to talk about sparring. It's irrelevant on the night. Do you know what I mean? No big head guards, no big gloves, but I can carry a certain amount of confidence. But like I said, it's respect for Tommy. I don't just speak about spars because they're irrelevant. But they say, and they've said confidently and openly, that if me and Tommy fight, there's only one winner. So, and obviously they're talking about Tommy. They said Tommy. They weren't talking about me. So we'll see now. If this fight doesn't happen in before summer, I'll be very vocal, as you can imagine, but it will not be with me. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like there's 2 options at the moment for both of us if the fight's going to happen. The Kid Galahad Josh Warrington card has just been booked, 15th of June. It's not the most time between the 26th of April, but I don't mind that. I want to get straight into camp. Obviously, he's only just won his title, so he would have a bit more of a longer run up to that fight. 15th of June in Leeds. I'm based in Sheffield. I've got a good support network, a good following in Sheffield, and he does good tickets. And Leeds is half an hour, 40 minutes away on a big card, BT. Let's get some money. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not going to disclose. I'm not going to disclose what he's earning. It's not about it. We're a sport, but he's told me what he's earned for 10 rounders and what he earned for a 10-round title fight. I wouldn't get out of bed for. Do you know what I mean? And so now this could be his stage. You know, if he's that confident of winning, get on TV, get on a proper TV network, get a good purse, good title opportunity. And if he beats me, boom, he will go above 10th in the WBO world rankings. And it will be clearly the biggest win of his career, and it will really arrive him at the domestic scene and beyond that. Do you know what I mean? So if they're that confident, I can't see no reason why that fight's not happening. If not, what I would love, do you know what I mean? I've already headlined a show in London. I've headlined a Box Nation TV card. Who knows? Maybe if some strings could get pulled, me and Tommy could headline at a smaller show in Sheffield. He does very well with tickets. I would do well with tickets in Sheffield as well. It's been my home for the last 5 years. Maybe like a Ponders Forge, a nice Sheffield. Get BT down there. They've signed Shaquille Thompson. They've got like Mahib Fazaldin on the books, Frank Warren. There's also every single small hall show that's done by, Steffi Ball, Ryan Rhodes. They're packed out. They've got good ticket sellers up there. They'll be able to get on the show as well. TV platform for them. So I don't see no reason why not. Sheffield boxing is really missing some of these fights, and this could be a way into it. I'd be open to that. Do you know what I mean? Even though it's not in my home city, I'd still have a very good following, do a lot of tickets for it, and obviously so with Tommy. So they're the 2 options in my head. Do you know what I mean? In my fantasy world, but we'll just have to see what comes up with. But like I said, if that fight doesn't get made after, for me, the 27th of April, it's because of their sides. But like I said, for one reason or another, you'll find out sooner rather than later whether it's them not wanting to fight or whether they do step up. And I think they might. He agreed to fight Carl Youssef, who's a stablemate of mine, now English champion, who'd beat Tommy Frank twice as an amateur on one of Steffi's small hall shows. I can only imagine the purse wasn't great, and it was, not on TV or nothing like that. So he agreed to fight him, but then it didn't happen because Tommy said, we'll fight a Superfly. Carl said no. Sorry. So I can only imagine that Tommy's a proper fighter and a proper fighting man. He would like to roll the dice, but I think it'll be more his team stopping him if it's not. I think it'll be more his team.
Where does Paddy Barnes fit into all of this? it's the elephant in the room. We've seen all over social media the last couple of days. You exchange pleasantries. Thoughts?
First of all, I'd like to apologise for absolutely nothing. No, but in all seriousness, there's a big part of the sunny side of me that does feel sorry for him and was reluctant to speak out the way I did, and was also very, for every 50 comments that are saying, yeah, Paddy deserves da-da-da-da, there's the 50 comments that go, nah, show some class. And I agree completely with both. Like I said before, there's a sunny and there's a showtime. And the sunny of me understands he's got a family, he's trying to provide for them, and he's a human being who gets emotionally invested, and you can see that. And it's not no way, nice way to bow out. If you're going to bow out on a loss, you want it to be, up there, not against someone that it was like 1-20 on to beat or something like that. So a lot of me does feel sorry for him, but I think if he went about his interview when Coogan was probing questions out of him, and he went even back to it to get him to speak on it again. Coogan knew what he was doing, but he could have left it to what he's left it at plenty of times before. He gave me a props. He said Sonny's a good fighter, but what does he offer me? Blah blah blah. I don't aspire. But it's the way he sort of come out and was going, I hope no one fights him, and that's what people got like. Oh, I hope he's frozen out of the sport and has to retire. Like basically can't make a living out of it. Like, that's sort of like a nasty side of things, because I would never sort of be wishing that on him. Do you know what I mean? Do your thing and good luck in your career, but you're just a name I want on my record, and it was simple as that. So because of them comments and the fact that, I didn't tune in to watch his fight, and I haven't even seen it now, I've only seen the clip the Top Rank put out. But as you can imagine, through the fight and then after the fight and since the fight, I've had 100, 200, maybe more messages, ats on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, tags and replies to comments, and even one that I've not been tagged in, people have been like, if you look at anyone that spoke about Paddy Barnes, pretty much the first comment straight away is, but he's allowed to say stuff about Sonny Edwards not wanting to box and da-da-da-da. So it's all tit for tat, it really is, and I can't, like I said, I feel the same ways, and I've said this, I understand why people are saying, nah, Sonny, you need to show some class, because really I do, but at the same time, if he's going to say that, people know what I'm like, he knows what I'm like, so you can't put yourself on a pedestal like that on your fight day. If I had my comeback fight after a loss, and you sat here now and asked me about someone, I wouldn't be sort of hoping their career ends tomorrow, when that's a possibility for you, do you know what I mean? I said on that, before he fought, that he's one devastating loss away from retiring, and he wouldn't want that to be against me. And I don't know where this leaves it. It's weird, because it's now up to Paddy, like it always has been, but it's really up to Paddy, because even now his promoter and his management will be like, well, there's only one route now. You have to go down to domestic level, because that Mahika should have been a walkover. And him going, I was too small for bantamweight. Mahika's boxed at super flyweight most of his career. He's not a big bantamweight or super bantamweight that they was trying to spill. I think Paddy came in heavier than him. Do you know what I mean? So they can't try and run that, because that's not gonna slide with me. But now he has to fight at domestic level if he's to fight again. I wouldn't blame him for not fighting again. But like Charlie just said in an interview that happened before this, the only route now is through me, because it will be the biggest exposure. He knows that if he agrees to fight me, I'll fight him. So I mean, there won't be none of this, what do you offer me, and all that sort of stuff, because everyone knows, really, that's a roundabout way of avoiding a fight. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, to be fair, I've not turned down any fights in my whole career, but I had an opponent chucked at me for this fight that did make 0 sense. Do you know what I mean? A good fighter, but he's a ticket seller who scrapes tickets. Don't sell many tickets. He is like 11-1. He's never boxed super flyweight or bantamweight and above. He was a national champion as an amateur. Has some good wins on his record. And my purse wouldn't have been nothing. Would have been the same for fighting him than fighting. So, and he was going to be using my platform, my TV, my titles. So that don't make no sense. Do you know what I mean? And if I beat him, it would have been to general people. No, so what? But to the people that know boxing, it would have been like, that's a good win recorded. But I said when he was offered to me, I set an amount that I'd fight him for. And my management stepped in and went, no, do you know what I mean? You're coming off an injury. that fight don't make sense. And anyway, he's a bantamweight that probably wouldn't even get down to superfly, would come in heavy and know what you're like and would still take the fight and come in at ridiculous size. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm not in the business of turning down fights. And Paddy knows where the phone is, or he hasn't even got to phone me. So we just speak to our mutual manager and then we can get that cracking. It would still be a huge fight, probably bigger now than ever, which is bizarre. It's bizarre, but I've proved on numerous times that I'm operating at a level far way and beyond Paddy Barnes. I honestly believe if he fought Granados on Saturday night, he would have got knocked out. I think a lot of people will share that opinion just because of how heavy-handed Granados and how relentless he is as well. And you can't... I was having this conversation with my good friend Lyndon the other day. With someone like Paddy Barnes, who had a great amateur career, an amateur career that I'm jealous of. Let me be the first one to say. People were like, oh, but you didn't do nothing as amateur. Yeah, I did my thing domestically. I had one fight for GB and beat a 3 times Olympian and former world champion in my first fight for GB. So, yes, I didn't stay around long enough to achieve what Paddy did. But I decided to go pro early, and that has its pros and it has its cons. You know what I mean? And I've decided to go this way. I'm making good money. I'm providing for my little family. I'm living, do you know what I mean, just on boxing and living quite comfortably as well. So I think I made the right decision for my lifestyle. And not only that, for the setup as well. Like, I didn't really enjoy the GB setup. I didn't really enjoy 3-round fights. I think if you watch it in my fights, like, yeah, sometimes, most of the time, 99% of the time, I look quite fleshy. A lot of people would be, do you know what I mean? They would be smart to think, oh, he can't be that fit. But then if you watch me box, my engine just keeps ticking over because I'm very good at judging the pace. And you see me on the track and in the gym, I'm a very, very fit lad. It's just I was a flyweight, so I beefed up and I got too much more than I should do, but then I get down the weight easy, so it's hard for me. There's no fights at flyweight, so I've been boxing at super flyweight. So I mean, I've proved again and again, especially my last couple of fights, that I'm operating at a level way above. But it would still be a fight that a lot of people would buy interested in. And it could happen in London, it could happen in neutral ground, it could happen in Belfast. I'd go over there, I've already fought there before. And it's a fight I'd still be very, very interested in, because at the end of the day, yeah, technically and ability-wise and the level he's operating at now, it's not the hardest fight I can out of there or the greatest fight, but exposure-wise, it's really up there, especially with all the back and forth and the build-up. Like, think how much Twitter and sort of everything exploded after I didn't even fight, just because he ripped me in an interview and I bounced back, which I always do. I don't repeat. If people don't want me to reply, if someone asks you, just say no comment. Then I can't bite on nothing. Then I'm not going on nothing. If you give me some smoke to go on, I'll keep going and going. I'll churn it out, and it's got to the point now where I don't have no like loyal like cult following that sort of get on everyone. But the people that sort of are interested in my career and interested in what I do and how I operate, they like to see that side. They like to see the Showtime side of things. They like to see me be quite out there and outspoken. So they react more than you know, all the humble people. Just like Charlie has all the people that support him and follow him and they want to see his motivational stuff. Yeah, that's not me. We're two different people. And I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. Vice versa. But I just portray who I am. And I do let my boxing speak, but I let my mouth speak a hell of a lot as well. And yeah, some people don't like that. Like, I had some respectable fighters sort of going, Packy, you don't kick a dog when he's down, sort of thing. But in my eyes, for my morals, you don't wish someone's fight career ends tomorrow. Which kind of is what he did. He hopes no one fights me now. I'm forced to retire. So it's a bit of both. Like I said, I don't want to rip into him too much because I'm emphatic. I show empathy and sympathy to his current situations. I read an article the other day about how scared he is for the end of boxing and how providing for his family is his main goal in boxing. So we'll see, I think, really now if he can go out on that loss or he can really get in the gym and really have a long camp. Do you know what I mean? I would, if he took the fight and wanted to fight, I'd give him a long camp so there'd be no excuse. I want the best Paddy Barnes possible now. But it'd be a bittersweet thing, because even though I've been saying that he's kind of shot now and he's passed it since his pro debut, really, for a couple of years now. But now people are seeing what I've been saying. So yeah, it'd be a bit bittersweet I didn't get him early if I do get him. But you can't argue if he decides to hang up the gloves. His heart clearly is not in it. Do you know what I mean? Like the shape I remember 2 weeks out of his world title fight, he looked in dreadful condition. He looked overweight and... Do you know what I mean? So I don't think his heart's in it that much. I think his commitment and dedication was always questioned anyway in the amateurs. You know, in between the majors, he was always boxing at 52 kilos and stuff like that. So I don't think we'll see Paddy again. But if we do, I can't see him being advised for anything else other than fight Sonny Edwards. If you win, then boom, boom, try and push on for a world title. And if not, then, do you know what I mean? I can't see there being more of an interest fight. And he lost a 6-rounder against someone that he should have rolled over. Not a puncher, 11 wins, 1 knockout. So he's in a hard position. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place now. But that's kind of what you get when you try and rush for world titles. And then after getting beat, still saying that you deserve world titles. And after this, I want a 10-round title fight in the world. Come on, like, be realistic. And I don't think he'll come out of that spiel again. I think he knows now. But it's the harsh reality of the sport. And that's probably why I don't mind taking these harsh tests early. Like, I saw what Granado's done to Jamie Condon and the fight they had, and I knew that it was going to be a big fight. Bear in mind, I had 4.5 weeks' notice for that fight. 7 weeks before the fight, I had a hard 10-rounder against Ryan Farag. I thought I wasn't boxing until March, so I mean, I had a few weeks of doing completely nothing. But I still took the fight because that's my ambition and my drive. And if I see something I want, I'll go and get it. And now I've earned my place. Really, of those 2 wins, is kind of like I'm getting put. Like I said earlier, I'm getting put on a Frank Warren card and on BT Sport, and boom! Before I got an opponent on my TV, I'm going to put him on the poster. 2 fights ago, that weren't happening. Two fights ago, MTK was ringing up Frank every day. When can Sonny Edwards get out? On the undercard, is saying 6-rounder, and now I've earned my right to be. Oh, Frank called MTK. Can we get Sonny on? Do you know what I mean? So I'm in a good position. Everyone likes a winner. Do you know what I mean? It's the game we're in. And yeah, a lot of people are saying about my comments to Paddy Barnes, like, oh, well, you're going to lose one day and it's going to come around and kick you. But I understand I'm going to lose. I've lost to people that, for everyone's money, I should have been beaten quite easy in the amateurs a couple times. And I just carried on my confidence and carried on going and carried on improving, and now I'm in a position now. I'm not oblivious to the fact that there's every single chance I can go on my next fight and get beat, and my fight after that and get beat. But I love boxing, I love the sport, and I'll just keep playing forward. Whatever level I can operate at, I'll show in the ring. It doesn't matter about... Obviously, you've got to be managed correctly and the right path, and fights that make sense money-wise. But I'm still in the business of taking proper fights. I don't want to tiptoe around and be known as a ducker or a dodger. Paddy came out and said, oh, Sonny wouldn't fight Andrew Selby. Of course I'd fight Andrew Selby. I don't think he'll fight at British level again. He's not a name I need to mention. He's in front of me at the moment. Of course. And he's a very good fighter. And one of the reasons I wouldn't mention Andrew Selby is because the time, if that time ever happens, where it's, oh, we want to see Sonny Edwards versus Andrew Selby, if I'm chasing the Andrew Selby fight, I've lost 20-30% of my purse already. You know what I mean? That would be a big money fight. That would be like Charlie was saying about him, a legacy fight. I'd fight anyone on the planet. But if you're paying me XYZ to fight Ross Murray, XYZ to fight Ryan Farag, XYZ to fight Granados, you're going to pay me ZZZ to fight Andrew Selby. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way it is with me. Like, when I got offered that fight against the bantamweight, I said to my management, I'll take the fight, but I want this. Boom, I said 30k. That's what I want. And for my contract I'm on now, that's not a million miles away. I know we don't talk about money, it should be irrelevant in the sport, but it's not. But that's what I said, that's my figure, boom, straight away. I'm not going to take that fight, but I'll weigh up the factors, I'll weigh up the variables, the risk and everything. I'm never going to outprice my fight. I won't be like, oh, I want 100 grand to fight Andrew Selby. No, I wouldn't. But give me a fair shake of the whip, and I think on my day, I can beat anyone. On a different day, I can lose to anyone. Do you know what I mean? So I've been put down now for the first time in my life, so maybe people are thinking, oh, I can get to Sonny, I can hurt him more than Granados did. I will say though, no one's ever hit me as hard as Granados hit me, and I've sparred a few world champions, a few weights above. I've been in there with great fighters, so we'll just have to wait and see what's out there for me.
Okay, well, shockingly, I'm on low battery, so we're going to catch up with you at some stage this week anyway. Press conference to announce the April the 27th bill. Always a pleasure catching up with you, Sonny or Showtime or whoever. Sonny, Showtime, Edwards. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
No, cheers for having me on. Cheers.